Driving home last night through mangled Long Island, New York, Natasha Leonard, Lennard, yacked with Brianna Joy Gray about safetyism. And I heard articulated for really the first time what exactly cancelling is. My understanding of cancelling has always been quite primitive. I say, I'll let you know when it affects me, when I see it in action and go, oh no. And I've not, to date. I heard it last night on my drive. Leonard said she wouldn't want to allow a member of the IDF to speak to her students. She speaks in strange words. Quote, violence is sciencism, safetyism, end quote, which she must know her hearers hear and comprehend. But I thought I might, she expects, hear these words, this alien speak, and think, oh, that's good. That contains a thought I had not heard. That is persuasive. But I don't. I don't. To me, it feels quite oppressive and faux, F-A-U-X. And perhaps this is her worry about righties. Their simple language, appealing to the lowest common denominator, is certainly more persuasive. Trust me, I can understand it, but I stretch to understand you. This is only one of the angles of this argument. As I define safetyism, it sounds exactly like not wanting to hear a member of the IDF, like cancellation. You, Natasha, might decide that I am not of your club. You would be correct, but it doesn't follow that I am IDF until you listen to me. And I don't want to hear multiple points of view because I think it's fair or an expression of free speech. It is good for us. The airing and sharing of points of view, articulating, putting it out there is the only way points of view change. For instance, asking an IDF soldier what they really might feel might lead them to realize their views are very Nazi. Only wanting to encounter people like you when you go out your front door. Zionism and Nazism have the same roots: homeland, theocracy, ethno-state. The means of enforcement are different until October the 8th. There are many ex-IDF soldiers who will tell you exactly this. They will say, I realized it was a racist project, Zionism. And you'd not hear them. And this thing about racism is really interesting because from all sides, I hear it. You know, it's supposed, somebody the other day was talking about, you know, we have to have more babies in Europe. I'm like, no, we've got 7 billion, nearly 8 billion people on the planet. We need to stop having babies, whatever. If it means that Europe will be full of brown people, I'm fine with that. You know, just stop having babies, please. Where am I? Yes, and you'd not hear them. You'd not hear these IDF soldiers realizing what they're doing. This connects to my thing the other day, imagining the medias, the Foxes and the NYTers, not such strange bedfellows as either would insist, change people. Perhaps you are worried your young and malleables would be influenced by notions of supremacy, or, to be more honest, a notion of supremacy not yours. It's another revelation of the day. The language is of difference. Brianna is a journalist, podcaster. One who journals would be a journalist. She writes in a journal, so she's a journalist. Her language is of a very high order and persuasive to me. Natasha's invention of terms is not. To anyone outside her ilk, there's the rub, where democracy ends. Lots of lefties do this. Their motivation or explanation of would be as interesting as the IDFer. Why do you talk funny? Don't scoff. It is the perfect giveaway. She, Nat, also peppers her speech with a lot of you-knows. Well, we don't know what the F you're trying to say. I've heard in the rushed and ragings of the Middle East talk things like, What would Britain do if one of their embassies had been flattened and several leader citizens killed? It was a challenge, not a question. It was a very good one. David Cameron is what he is. He's not the one to ask. What he would do is exactly what Iran did. He's done it for centuries. And so, or I hear, what would America do if Mexico broke down that wall and killed 1,200 white Americans? We know. We have recent evidence. What even Biden called a mistake after 9/11, whoopee, sing 500,000 dead Iraqis. Just what Israel is doing. And so the US is a very bad exemplar these days if you're trying to get you some peace. One of the worst in history. Go ahead, ask me. Ask me what I would do, call a meeting of the 5 families, this war ends now. It's very simple. Or have you assumed that and refused me on campus? If you cannot call this meeting, you are no leader of any world, let alone a free one. As the talk went on, it became more and more ism-laden and funnier. BJG was indulgent. One can see her thinking, which is rare. Not of her, it's rare in the industry. Trying to reconcile with someone booked as an ally, I guess, but Natasha slips deeper and deeper into fascism. I might even agree with her ends. After listening, I wonder, but her means are self-defeating. They guide us away from understanding and into a them versus us world, which is pointless. A typical blind spot of the left who are fast revealing themselves as supremacist as Goebbels. I confess I don't have the US-Israeli affliction. My ancestors spoke for themselves, and ancestordom cannot forgive their crimes, as I don't feel the smallest temptation to do Ancestry.com to find the advertised self. I know that myself owes no allegiance nor debt to the narcissistic, bloodthirsty lot who ruled my cultures for thousands of years. How do I know? I know myself. I'm not made of them. My actual ancestors, I suspect, and I hope, were peasants, who Natasha's no doubt disdained in the highest degree. It is in her language, arrogance, and cancellings. Do we have the freedom to stay in our clubs? Of course. Freedom of speech to express ourselves. Again, self-expression is crucial. Not to solicit support, but to allow yourself to hear what is in your head loud and out loud and sharpen it or recoil in horror. The most useful is the recoil. Trust me, the most progressive. Young people should encounter Milo Yiannopoulos. Yiannopoulos, probably. He's not unique. He tugs the same supremacist strings no more than Trump, Sunak, Starmer, or Biden. The list is long and getting longer. And education should not only expose you, but allow you to interact with. If speeches are what university does, you are not educators in the first place, so shut the book. See Michael Sandel, 5 minutes to set the scene, ask the question, then you're off. It's all discussion with the students. They create the afternoon. If your speaker is uncomfortable with questions, don't invite them right or left. If you ban only Milos, you have defeated whatever faint purpose you trotted out in your brochure or the parts that I could translate.